That's all right.
Cost
I'll
of
extend
Some
the,
herding cats.
I'll extend the call to order. Perfect, thank you very much. I want to welcome everyone to the Corporation of the Township of Ontario Valley, the committee meeting. Today is Tuesday, June sixth, 1:30 PM. Is there any additions to the agenda? Murphy?
I just have a quick shout out about an event that John and I are working on.
Okay, perfect. So we'll add that so that would be 8.5, new and finished. Is there a specific event? Like, can I put it for a title?
Yeah, it's art in the afternoon.
Oh, okay, it's this pamphlet you gave us
It's
here.
to
Okay.
support our local historian artisan.
Okay, so we'll add that as 8.5. Thank you for the addition. Afternoon. Anything else, Tracy?
Nope.
John, anything to add?
Nope.
Okay, perfect. And I don't have anything either. So could please have a confirmation of the agenda, please? Mayor Murphy, all those in favor? Thank you very much. Is there any peculiar interest or the general nature thereof? Seeing none, perfect. Was there any errors or omissions with the minutes from the previous meeting? I didn't know any.
No.
Perfect. Could I please have approval of those minutes, please? Tracy, thank you very much. All those in favor? Awesome. We do not have any delegations today. So we'll wait for
There
Jason
he is.
Zor to come to the counter. Jason, welcome to the meeting today. Oh,
All right, so we received 4 tenders for the excavator. The excavators ranged almost about 80,000 difference between all 4. The only one that met all the criteria to much everything was Wajax Hitachi, which is out of Pembroke. So my recommendation is to accept Wajax Hitachi tender.
yeah, and that'll be coming to her. That comes tonight to her.
Tonight, yeah.
So,
But, and I'm glad to hear it meets all your criteria. It was interesting to see the wide range.
mhm.
And were some of them just have more bells and whistles or just different manufacturers?
Just different manufacturers, they're a little higher priced.
What's the ETA?
They're thinking August, September.
2025.
No.
2030.
That's right. This is the same Wajax as the Wajax pumps for the fire department, correct?
No,
Oh, it's not the same company.
well, they may fix them, I don't know,
Oh, okay.
because they have a wide range of different services that they do, right?
Sounds good.
Good, thank you. So we have been working with our storm management plan inspections, because we have to get our catch basins pumped. We have been doing some test runs on some different ideas for our computer data, OMS. And we also are doing a paper copy also, just to back up. Enbridge Gas, we've been doing a lot of mapping with them. Making sure that, you know, we have enough work areas around where we have to work, catch basins. And that kind of curves and ditches and all that, make sure we have enough room. So we've been going over those and making sure that that's up to par. We've been approached by a resident on Felber Road that has spring water issues, and they've been in contact with the neighbor where we could redirect that water by installing a culvert. That would, you know, save a lot of damage in the spring. Midwinter, with water that's happened to come across the roadway, it could build up with ice and other issues like that, or wash out the road. There's a copy attached also. The roads employees have requested to work 4 10-hour days over the summer. We've drafted a memorandum of understanding and are looking for committee direction to sign on the township's behalf. We have stipulated that the goal of this pilot project is to increase productivity and job satisfaction while decreasing absenteeism for months. If successful, we would consider making it permanent for next year's negotiations.
Can I ask a question? Sorry, I was just gonna say, in a 4-day work week, they're off on Fridays, right? So what happens if something big happens on a Friday? Is that going to incur overtime costs then?
Yes, so right now, what we've brought into place is 2 people would be on call for that Friday. And if need be, then they would come in.
So this is something that we're also trying as a pilot project at the county. Obviously, not with plow operators in the winter. And this is only for the summer. I understand what Councillor Sanderson was saying, especially in lieu of something terrible like a windstorm where we had a lot of cleanup. But at the same time, I see the justification for trying it. And I think that this model is being used in more than just municipal government. So I personally would like to see how it works, especially if you're talking about a pilot over the summer months.
In past, we have done it. That would have been just after amalgamation. I think we did it maybe 2 or 3 years after amalgamation, so it did work well. But at that time, we had people that, because we still had to cover the dumping stuff. So we had people that would come in on a Friday just to do that or catch up on something else that might have popped up Thursday late.
Yeah.
But as soon as that was done, then they could go home.
And someone will still be in the office, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Dale and myself would be on a rotation. One would do 4 10s and the next person would do 5 8s.
I also like the fact that the roads employees have come to you requesting this, and if this is something that they see as a benefit for, you know, to go to appointments or to have a day where they don't have to take time off work.
Right.
I certainly like that. And of course, some of us didn't even live here at amalgamation, so we wouldn't know, but it's a whole new day. So I'm in favor, but I will leave it to the rest of council.
No, I'm good with trialing out for the summer to see how it goes, see if productivity goes up, days obviously in employment are there as well. To be honest, on my end, it kind of makes sense. You have your Monday to Thursday work, and then you and Dale can set your next week's priorities, and then one guy, and then there's that carryover, especially during the summer, like doing roads construction with the high volume of traffic. I'm kind of curious on what we can get done between the Monday to Thursday versus the Monday to Friday, because Friday you have all your amount of traffic that goes through this area is wild. So but no, I'm interested to see how it goes for those July, and then for summer students, is that the ones you have hired for the roads department, would they be on that 4-10 schedule as well?
Yes.
So they'll be consistent.
Yes.
Oh, okay, sounds good. I'm good with it though.
I think so. We'll have a look at you'll present the detailed plan, or we would like to suggest that he go ahead and implement it, and we'll reassess it at Christmas.
So that we don't get into the operational aspect, I think we let Jason try it.
Okay.
And then at the end of the summer, get a report back, and then we can look, because if we're going into contract negotiations for the union, I think that this is something that we have to take very seriously, obviously. But yes, I would say that in the fall, at some point, we revisit how it worked.
All right, I'm in favor.
There you go. Jason, I just had one other thing for you. I think that we should probably schedule our road tour, like pick a date. I don't know what you're, Sandra. I don't know what you were thinking in terms, would you like to wait till the fall when it's a little cooler?
We could do that, yes.
So maybe let's plan for something in September. Okay.
I just want to comment because I didn't comment on this. I'm in favor.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Because you let us off, so
No, it's okay. No, I agree with it. And many corporations too, it's the reduced work week and stuff. I'm just asking to see if there's, and I love the trial, but I just wanted to make sure there's not a cost increase with employee time and a half. Because no one's working Friday.
Right,
Right?
and that's a very good point, and I'm sorry.
That's okay.
You let
I
us off,
forgive you.
so
I forgive you.
Yeah, so if everybody, is everybody good with September? Because I know we've been promising, especially our new members, you know,
Yes.
to see all the stuff. So that's great, okay.
Could make it December and go for a real slippery slide.
With a horse and a
Perfect.
wagon.
Let's not do that. Let's plan September.
I would do it if we all can go in the snowplow truck. That'd be perfect. We just get one.
We'd have to get a bigger one built.
Perfect.
A club cap.
Right,
Put a wagon on the back.
anything else more for Jason, or is that everything?
It-
Perfect. Thanks, Jason. Have yourself a great day. Thanks. And Daryl is away today. Is there any questions on his report? It was quite standard, just 66 of the fire hydrants flushed and pretty standard. Perfect. So we'll bring in the fire chief. Sasha.
Is he there?
Oh, I don't see him there. Oh, this might be his office.
So he's just calm.
Okay, perfect. So we'll move on to correspondence A while we're waiting then.
I have nothing.
I'm good.
Yeah.
John, are you good with correspondence A?
I am.
Perfect. Correspondence B. You have the support for the Tweed Bell. Actually, I thought that was an interesting one. Just it's
Yeah.
kind of, I think we should support that for the next meeting.
I do
And all
too.
that is just say, honestly, it just says use common sense when it comes to telecommunications poles. So I would say we should support that at the next meeting. So is everyone in favor of that?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Annette,
That was the only one I had.
you can just do a lot of support for next meeting.
I will, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, when Jason was here, we didn't discuss the letter, the draft letter under him for the
Oh,
regulations.
for the,
waste.
for the waste
Sorry, no,
regulation.
I just get direct-
Oh, yeah, sorry, that was my bad, but yeah, no, I was good with sending it along.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Daryl, go ahead.
Okay, so we'll jump right in, their monthly reports. May was a little quieter than April, but we have been extremely busy. There's not much we can do about it. Just to update you, the last time I was in, I talked about this call for the cat. So
I understand the cat lived.
the cat lived, yeah.
Good.
They were able to find it. It had crawled into the ductwork and it got in a spot where they could not get it, so.
This is the Bonnecher Valley cat, right?
Yeah, so they had to cut some holes in the trunk line and open up the ductwork and then we're able to get it. It was an older cat, so apparently it, I don't know how old, but the cat.
Oh, is it older cat? I said over. I thought it meant it was like a brisk, big cat. Okay.
Save the life, right?
Yes, yes, so.
Daryl was not fat shaming the cat.
I thought you were fat shaming for a
That's my
second,
cat.
Daryl. That's all.
Yes.
So as of April 1st, the township went into a fire ban. Sorry, as of effective May 30th, we went into a fire ban. And then 2 days later, the ministry declared us a restricted fire zone. And with what's going on out there, I mean, the country's burning from coast to coast, coast to coast, you know, we're up and down all over the place. People need to understand that this is serious. I mean, these fires are not going away anytime soon. We are gonna be into a restricted fire ban for who knows how long. There is no moisture coming in the near future. It is extremely dry out there. But with the restricted zone, what happens for enforcement is the ministry takes it on. We will roll, we will do what we have to do. We will take pictures of the fire, make sure that we extinguish it, then we call the tips line and then a conservation officer comes out and they will levy the fines. So we were, and because of the smoke spread that's going around the province, and we were called out on Sunday, and that's what it is, people are smelling smoke, but we're just being called in.
And I was telling Daryl before our meeting here today that I had an inordinate amount of people reach out to me this weekend, wondering about the smoke, the color in the sky, which was extremely eerie. I know that on Saturday morning at about 4 a.m., I woke up from the smell. And I mean, what we're smelling out there today, it smells like, you know, a garbage fire. I do understand that Calabo or Greater Madawaska, they are trying to get things under control. MNRF has been out with their water bombers. But even prior to Calabogi's fire or Greater Madawaska's fire, we were already seeing smoke from Halifax, from Alberta, from Quebec. And so I think people just have to be patient. But I don't know if the rest of you had phone calls, emails, texts this weekend, but
Not about that, it was raccoons for me.
oh, yeah, yes. Yes, but a lot of concern about this weather. And, you know, I've spoken to people with asthma who are now back to wearing masks. I'm very happy to hear that the kids are being kept inside at school today. You know, especially children with any sort of bronchial issue, asthma or what have you. So this, and I don't disagree with you, Darrell, this is very serious.
And with regards to Greater Madawaska, I did get contacted by the county coordinator today asking for personnel. So I put an email out. I have 8 or 9 members, but I also said I'm not sending them all because we can't leave ourselves short. So I'm gonna get an update tonight at 4 o'clock, and we're gonna find out exactly if they are required. From the last report was they are starting to flank the fire, cut off the head. And once they can stop the progression, then they can call it as being held. Right now it's being held, but then they can say it's under control, and they can start working backwards and start dealing with the hotspots, which is really, they just got to stop it from moving forward. So it did start on an island, and the embers did jump across about a 60-foot from between the island and the mainland, and that's what started the mainland.
Yeah.
They have done an evacuation. So I'm kind of leaving their chief alone because he's busy. I don't really want to bug him, so. Yeah.
And but I did have a discussion with the mayor this morning, and I congratulated him on his first mayoral emergency, which is very unfortunate. That was a joke, guys, but I think that the other thing that Darrell and I were talking about this morning was, you know, it could be as easy as somebody flicking a cigarette butt out the window. You know, people burning illegally, and they think, oh, I'm just gonna have a small campfire. And I think what we're seeing right now, especially at jumping that little canal onto the mainland, that's a scary situation. And I know that we're all of our thoughts are with those people in Calabogie or in Greater Madawaska that are displaced right now, and with all of the fire teams. I believe McNabb, Rayside, and Arm Prayer are there as well.
McNabb is on standby.
Oh, they're on
We
standby.
were asked as well to cover possibly Baker and Munson Patrick. I never received a phone call, so I guess they must have it under control around there. There is,
Your advisory call at 4. Could you just send council out a quick email so that we know
Yeah.
where our fire, just in case?
Okay.
Thank you.
So our status as of right now is the ministry status that they announced on May 30th?
actually June 1st it came in, effective June 1st at midnight. So the 30th at 12.
And that's called restricted
It's a
fire
restricted
zone.
fire zone. There is absolutely no open flame whatsoever. You can use a barbecue for cooking or warmth. A lot of people are calling saying, well, what about these propane fire pits? And I'm saying not at all. It's an open flame. So some of the issues with those is that they're being sold with, they're called van busters, and on the tagline it says they exceed township bylaws, which is not true.
Really?
Yeah, they supersede township bylaws, yeah. I haven't seen them this is a few years ago, I seen that tagline on it. So, but people also, again, they have to understand, it is extremely dry out there. We're gonna need at least 4 good days of a nice steady rain to make sure the conditions come back to where they're favorable. These little intermittent showers we're getting, the canopy just sucks it up. It never even reaches the forest floor. I mean, it's been my experience when I was down in GM, forest fires is one of our biggest challenges. But we were on them all the time. And it was always a struggle to try and educate the people. They put it in their minds that, like you said, they want to have a little campfire, but they don't understand the consequences when this thing gets away. I mean, GM is a prime example. It's got rolling hills. It could be the next Fort McMurray. I mean, maybe this might open some eyes down there to some of the people that come in from the outside and camp on these islands and go into all these little lakes, because you never know how many people are inside the township down there, because there's so many lakes to go on. It was always a constant struggle. Fortunately, well, we're okay for now, but I mean, we're not out of, I mean, we're kind of in the center of this thing right now, so.
The ministry fire maps this morning also showed that Deep River is being threatened by a fire to the west as well. So it's coming from two different directions. Could, as you say, be significant.
Yeah.
So I know we have a plan in place. Is it appropriate for us to remind people of things? Everybody should have their go bag with their cash and their water and things too. Who has that job?
The emergency operations, but yes, I mean, every year, you're right, you're absolutely right. Everybody should be reminded to have a go bag.
Well, Bancroft, actually, they have a sign up. You can put on an electronic sign at some point. It's like, are you prepared for 72 hours?
Yes.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
That's the most common slogan that I see throughout municipalities. So even if we put on our electronic sign and then that links to, say, we have on our Facebook township or anything like that, then.
Yeah, because we put it on our Facebook page during the floods, that what you should have in it, flashlight, batteries, cash, clothes,
Post it again. Good idea.
Yeah, like at their main,
mascara.
at their main Transcan site up there, like that's where they have it. It's just a big billboard pretty much.
Yeah,
And you're right, the 72 hours, because if there is an emergency, by the time responders get to you, it could take that or longer. So you gotta kind of be ready to be on yourself for 72.
And
Yeah.
pets too, people with pets, what do
Yeah.
they do? There's that communication as well, because,
Yeah.
you know, many instances they're left behind, right?
but
I know. But something to mention.
he's trying to make me cry.
And then, but something further, so if we had displaced people, we would have from their homes because of risk. We would have, that's when our emergency operations center would take over and deal with that. So that's something that bears thinking as well.
And we don't have to declare a state of emergency.
No.
But if we find ourselves, and God forbid, but if we find ourselves in a situation such as what's going on in other parts of the country, I would stand up the emergency operations anyway, just so that we are all on the same page, that messaging gets out, that we decide.
Well, it's faster delivery.
It
is what
absolutely
it
is.
Yeah.
But I pray that we're not gonna be in that position, but
Or
Right,
just get,
so-
it's just get our messaging out and that's all you can do. It's like, you're always gonna have that idiot that sets the fire. You just hopefully it's not in your area.
there you go.
Like, that's unfortunate. You see it every single year and right now
It's usually man-made.
it's
so-
it's so dry.
Yes.
Like, just take a walk at anywhere. There is no water in the ground.
It is on the other side of the Madawaska River.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. it's
but
on the
again,
map.
I'm speaking to messaging, we have our fire department web, Lorna does a fantastic job updating. We're always making sure that she's getting out. I believe it's being shared, like thousands and thousands of people are sharing it. It might go onto the township website or the Facebook page as well.
Lorna does her work on our township Facebook page and website.
The fire department one, but Sarah does Sarah and Dana, I guess, do our township one, but Daryl, I would say if Lorna is going to put together one for the go bag and what should be in it and be prepared, but we should be tagged in it.
Yeah.
And then Sarah can push it out as well,
Is there a mail out going from the township anytime soon?
Not until July.
not till July, yeah.
Wouldn't hurt to put it in there. Pager, one pager.
No, I just put it in our next newsletter,
Yeah, yeah.
to be honest.
Yeah, that's what Annette's saying, yeah.
All right. So the next question that has to be asked, I assume the restricted fire zone would forbid us to have fireworks on July 1st.
Oh, that's two of you that's put that out
Sorry.
there today.
Yeah.
Fireworks are a source of
It's
fire.
3 weeks.
That's right. The thought has already
weeks away.
crossed my mind and come across my lips. So, yes, it is a possibility.
And our insurer may decide for us as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we'll just keep an eye on it.
We just have to we have to keep an eye on it, see where it's gonna go.
Yeah.
Maybe in 2 weeks from now, we could be getting a trench. I mean, the downpour is not what we want. We want a steady rain.
Yeah.
Because if it rains too hard, it just runs off. We need the ground to get saturated again, so. Again, people just need to be, they can't have to be patient with this, which nothing we can do. It's out of our control.
So July 1st, there probably will be a number, if we don't do it, there probably will be still a number of people doing it, right?
Absolutely.
So what is the plan for that? I guess you just, or is it
So
police? Is it-
it is in our fire bylaw
Yeah,
that if you're in a fire band, you can't,
I know, for those that do,
that would be our new bylaw company.
Yeah.
But I would assume if this goes on, that bylaw company is going to be extremely busy on Canada
that's what
Day.
I'm saying, right? Like and to make it happen and get out there and
Yeah.
stop people.
Well, a month away, we'll just
Yeah,
revisit it.
3 weeks, and we'll keep monitoring, and if, I mean, the decision is gonna have to be made sooner than later. So to give people time to prepare, I mean, I'll be honest with you, a few years back when I was down in Greater Madawaska, we had a restricted fire zone come on at Friday afternoon at 2 o'clock. And we were scrambling, trying to get the word out. So, we did contact the ministry and we said, this is not acceptable. You need to give us more lead time. Now, their response is what we came down from above us. They said, it does not matter. You need to give us more lead time. We cannot get the message out in 2.5 hours.
That sounds like me. Every Friday, 4 o'clock, the province would give us a new rule.
So I'd ask Annette, I know we listened to how what we're not supposed to and not supposed to do. If I see somebody lighting a little garbage fire at the far end of Augsburg Road, can I be courteous and say, you might not be aware that? I don't want to, and I'm not trying to force the bylaw or the rule, but since we're already stretched with our firefighters and our people, can I approach someone and say, you shouldn't have a fire right now?
Absolutely. I mean,
Thank
and I think that word of mouth, because there are going to be people that just don't
Yeah.
know. They're just not paying attention and that's the way it is. Yeah, for sure.
Okay,
But I don't, it's not even if you see a little fire, if somebody phones you,
yes,
then you can say,
Yeah.
or emails you, you
Yes.
can say, no, this is the rule right now.
okay,
That's right.
So again, we just keep monitoring the situation and hope for some moisture. And if anybody can do a rain dance, I think now's the time.
Dave asked me to order rain from Amazon.
Oh, yeah,
Probably have it in a jar.
Actually, you can sell it on Etsy.
Yeah.
self-contained, sealed container. So it doesn't leak out.
They sell happy water, so why not?
I feel like we can't win with their weather lately. Like we just go from one extreme to another extreme to, yeah,
Well,
anyway,
we were fortunate here that the spring, we got a fair bit of moisture greened out.
yeah.
I mean, like Alberta went from snow to wildland, just like that. So in Nova Scotia, that's unprecedented down there. You know, there's.
They've never seen anything like it. It's unbelievable. And some of the photos are just devastating.
So I continue to monitor the M&R updates every day and I inform the officers and we're just keep working through it. So
Yep.
it'll work itself out. Eventually, Mother Nature will probably be kind at some point.
Sounds good. Perfect. Thanks.
Okay, so I know, again, the last council meeting, I mentioned that we did not have a fire advisor for Renfrew County. Well, now we do. It's a temporary contact. His name is William Hay. So I will find out more tomorrow night at the chief's meeting, but it's just somebody we can get in contact with now until they fill the vacant position with a full-time permanent person. So
HAYE,
HAY,
and he's with the ministry.
he did mention.
Yeah. Well, that's Providence.
No, it's a start. It's been a challenge. It's been a challenge to maintain a fire advisor in this county for some odd reason, but it's just, it is what it is.
As I like John's enthusiasm, but
You should CC John on future emails. That's enthusiasm.
It's the newbies.
that's right. You guys are like, it'll work out.
Perfect. Thanks, Daryl. Wish you best of luck in that.
All right, so there was an internal posting for a position for deputy chief. There was 3 applicants that applied. I did bring in outside assistance for a panel. Fire Chief Corwin Quad from Madawaska Valley and Deputy Chief Rob Pacho from North Algona. And I am pleased to announce that Captain Caleb Wagner was a successful candidate. He has been promoted to the rank of deputy chief. So Caleb He is an industrial electrician. Right now, he's got his own company and he's in Kingston, but he is here 4 days of the week. And he will be finishing that contract probably the spring of next year. So we're just gonna have to work through it. I've already talked to him about, the commitment to what's gonna happen as a deputy chief. So he understands and he knows it's gonna come to an end down there and he will be back this way. So we are going to be splitting, I'll be working with him to bring him up to speed as much as I can. And again, it's all about succession planning. So
Did you say next spring?
I think it's gonna be next spring.
So you're looking at almost an entire year?
Almost a year, yeah.
How does he monitor like a site when he's not here? Does he need to? I'm just trying to understand how someone so far away who doesn't really live here.
They may only be putting in 3 days a week because they may be working 12, 14-hour days. That's what he was doing. He goes down and he puts in a lot of time.
I'm just thinking of access to this person.
Yeah.
Something happens.
He's
If
very,
there's, for incident command, you're absolutely right. And I don't want to, again, I don't want to get into operations, but if you're going to be more of an administrative chief, then you're going to be relying on your 2 IC, whatever that looks like, right? Deputy chief, lieutenant captain, whatever.
Yeah.
So I just want to make sure that there's somebody, if you're not able to be at the scene, that there's somebody that's going to take the lead.
yeah, there is. The other captains have been versed in IMS. And for the next little while, I'm showing up at calls. If Caleb's around, that's probably gonna leave it to him. But when he's not here, I am going to be showing up. I need to get to know these firefighters. And I need to be able to watch how they work.
So, but are you going to be IC or are you going to are you going to be?
The last call we had, the structure fire on, I let the IC run it. And I said, I'm here for support because they need to get their feet wet.
Okay,
If things start going south, I definitely step in.
okay, I do not disagree with my colleague that it's not ideal.
No, but out of the 3 candidates we had, he interviewed the best. And again, I need to take someone under my wing. So this is that. It's not the ideal solution for now, but it's gonna get better. He understands that, and he also knows that there is after a few months, we're gonna revisit it, and if it turns out that it's really not working, then I'll have to revisit it. So any questions on fire?
No, I think you answered most of the operations and that's what I was more curious at, just on, but I think you answered pretty much every question.
Were you reading your mind?
And the fact that he shares your last name, is that a coincidence?
Yeah, we're related, but it's like far, far off.
I'm good with that.
Yeah, it is. I mean, that was brought up, but I mean.
Who's Daryl's son?
To be honest, Daryl, when we rent apartments, I just figure everyone's related at some point down the lineage.
Yeah, but-
And it's like when someone moves into Rollington Street, like across from me, they're like, oh, I found out he's like my 5th cousin. And it's like, oh, you're 85 years old and you just figured that out. It's amazing.
It is an issue though for public perception, because it's something John, you probably remember on the campaign trail, lots of discussion on who's connected to who and working in council. So it is something that you're gonna be
Well, it's
asked
like you and
about.
Merv are like long lost
Yeah.
cousins, aren't you?
And Dana.
Like,
We're third
and Dana,
cousins.
there you go, right? So,
Different situation though.
yeah.
I do take the Brent approach. I assume everybody's a relative of somebody.
But no,
Oh,
thanks
in
for
a small
clarifying that,
community.
because I was kind of like, I was curious on that as well.
Okay, so moving on to building, the building report is in front of you. So we're not really far off from last year's numbers. They're coming in. It's not like a full on. I'll get 3 or 4 at a time. I deal with them. And then there's a bit of a lull. Then I'll get 3 or 4 more and I deal with them. And again, it's coming in cycles, so. But it's still progressing. I mean, still getting lots of phone calls, so people are. I think they're kind of sitting on the fence right now. Testing the waters, and then eventually they're gonna pull the trigger on.
Yeah, a lot of people are just easing into it
Yeah,
and talking
yeah.
to them, seeing how everything goes.
Yeah. I mean, again, I know we talked about the price of materials there coming down a bit. The availability of contractors is still an issue. I mean, people just can't seem to find anybody who wants to take it on, right?
Yeah, and anybody worthwhile too, right?
And so do we allow people, because of the difficulty of materials and workers, sometimes we allow their permit to extend a little bit because some of it beyond their control? How does that work? If 2 years ago you were trying to start building your garage and you still can't do it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm flexible that way. If somebody can come in and they can defend why they're not, if they have certain issues. I'm okay with it. I mean, you gotta, it's a challenging time. You know, COVID really threw a wrench in everything and you have to just be able to roll with it.
I'm happy with that.
I know there's black and white, but like I said, I have to be firm where I need to be firm and I'm flexible where I need to be flexible.
Well, you also can't sign off on something that you look at and you're like, oh, that's been water damage for 5
Yeah,
years.
exactly.
You can't
Yeah.
sign off on
That's right.
framing, right? So
Yeah.
it's the common sense
Yeah,
aspect.
it is, it's a lot of confidence.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, attached is the where the permits were issued during the last month. Well, there was one more thing I want to bring forward on fire. So even if there was no restricted fire zone, we're in a level 2. Right now, the Provincial Offences Act, to set, maintain, or allow an open wheel fire permit is a $500 fine, which is kind of minimal. So I'm probably going to be taking a look at cost recovery. So I will work on that and I'll bring it to the next month or 2. So I think that might be a bigger deterrent than a $500.
I don't disagree with you.
Me too.
Probably hasn't been updated, to be honest, in a long time.
Well, it's probably not, but again, cost recovery, I mean, you're looking at, you're paying for the trucks, you're paying for the time.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you-
Minimum 2 hours per firefighter and.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that if it's I don't want to call John out, but John had to have the fire department come and spend some time and everything's good. Thank God for small mercies. But he didn't cause them.
No, absolutely not.
It's not like he went into his backyard and said, I'm gonna defy everything I've heard and I'm just gonna light a fire. I think I don't disagree with you.
I mean, there was, again, before I left GM, I had one and it was like a $24,000 fine.
Oh,
Plus the M&R came in as well. So I have no idea what the outcome was, but it hurt. And that's what I actually told the gentleman. I said, this is not, I'm not gonna, so this is gonna hurt, sir. I can't help it.
Sounds good. Well, just bring it to the next meeting and we'll review it. No problem.
So again, and that's, we just dealt with fees, but this is different. This would have, we had amended the bylaw to
Yeah.
reflect
Yeah.
the new cost. Okay.
so
I'm in
are you going to use the MTO per hours for the?
Yeah.
For the truck, okay,
There won't be any numbers. It's just gonna be because the MTO rates are always
they
changing.
always change.
So you just leave it open ended.
Yeah.
So if they go up in the next year, it just follows suit.
And that's what we've done with, CRA mileage rates and all that, like as.
Yeah.
We will follow the MTO, but I think for council, we should probably know what the MTO rates are
For sure.
sort of now.
Yeah.
But I agree with you, don't put them in the bylaw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good. Any more questions for Daryl? Perfect. Have yourself a great day, Daryl. Thanks. Great. We went through correspondence A, correspondence B, nothing in correspondence C, unfortunately.
Really disappoints them. At some point, we have to put something in.
I thought I requested last meeting to put something in correspondence C. Did it not get added
Maybe
in?
we could add community events and see, just to pop
Oh.
them up. I don't know.
All right.
Do that when we're finished.
Okay, perfect. On to 8.1, the mayor's report.
All right, so since my last report, I attended 17 meetings and a couple of events. Some of the highlights are as follows. It was actually a slow month for me, which was sort of nice. The Roma board met on May 12th and we are talking about trains and drains with the CN Railways. This doesn't really have anything to do with us in Renfrew County. I just put it in my report because it was a big topic of conversation. Rural access to services. We've begun working with a consultant and our Roma retreat starts tomorrow until Saturday in Prince Edward County, and we're going to be going through some of the recommendations. It should be a very good report. And we had a delegation from LAS about speed cameras. My Zone 6 introductory letter to our zone municipalities through our communications firm, what was distributed last Thursday. Did everybody get that in their email?
What was the name of it? Sorry.
My Zone 6 representative for Roma.
Remember saying that.
You should have all gotten it last Thursday. All right,
It could
anyway,
just be me.
okay, it's my
Okay.
intention to have a virtual zone meeting in September after the AMO conference. During the, oh yeah, we'll also be talking about our strategic plan of the next 3 days. As promised at our May 30th, at our May 30th meeting of the Renfrew County Board of Health, I inquired about what the health unit's role in the opioid crisis and the questions that we asked at this table. There is an opioid task force at our CDHU. Unfortunately, during COVID, they were reassigned to assist in other areas. Dr. Morgenstern and staff have assured the board that this task force is being stood up and is very interested in our offer to host a day for all stakeholders to join together for education and awareness. So I'll bring back more information as the task force ramps back up. But it sounds like we're on the very right track and they were very interested in the use of the arena. So, and to answer the Opeongo question.
Yep.
I did speak to somebody from the school board and yes, they do have a program, but they're interested in talking to us as well if we're going to host a day. On May 31st, in the absence of Warden Peter Emo, I chaired the county council meeting, which is why I'm assuming that Calabogie is burning because I am the natural disaster warden. We had 3 delegations, one for the United Way. They accepted a $2,000 donation because the staff wears jeans on Fridays and they put in a pot. So those monies are invested right back into Renfrew County. Cindy Phillips from Renfrew County Community Futures came and provided information, provided an update on the organization. One of the things that I found very interesting, and I'm going to pass it on to Sarah and Dana, Renfrew County Community Futures now has a program where if we have a community improvement plan, they will do, so they'll do a loan. So just as an example, we have the facade grant and a company comes to us and says, we need a sign that's $4,000. We give them 2, they can go to Community Futures and apply for the other 2 and then pay it back over time. So a nice way if you're a small business. I found it very interesting. And finally, we had an update from the Renfrew County District School Board highlighting their strategic plan, post-pandemic reset. It was very interesting. Every counselor got a package catered to our own municipalities. So this is for Bonnechere Valley. Obviously, there's overlap with Whitewater and the like, but some really interesting information that I will leave here for your perusal. And for Chief Administrative Officer Craig Kelly informed County Council that Rose Gruntz, our Deputy Clerk for the County of Renfrew, is leaving us at the end of August after 25 years. I don't know what we're going to do without her. I have to tell you, my 3 years of warden, as warden, she was my rock. So the EACDG fishing dock team had the dock in the water for May 2 floor, and it was very well utilized. Tomorrow we'll be discussing a new project, so more to come. And last Saturday, our first community expo was held at the arena. Congratulations to Lisa Guadamas for organizing the event, which showcased so many diverse booths. Thank you to John, Merv, Dana, Annette for taking care of the Bonnechere Valley table so that I could be at the EACDG table. And we were able to recruit some new volunteers for EACDG. Definitely, I see a benefit to this expo going forward. Maybe not on the same day as the Big Give, perhaps in time, perhaps May or September, whatever Lisa thinks. Not great weather because Saturday was beautiful and the Big Give was going on in Cobden. So we were splitting attention, but personally, as the part owner of Murphy's Auto, we would have put a table in for recruitment, and quite frankly, the fire department could have also had a table in. So some real opportunities, But I think some of the vendors enjoyed getting to know other vendors, and that was very interesting. And that concludes my report, Mr. Chair, unless anybody has a question.
If you want to have a successful community table, you have to have lots of pictures of puppy dogs. I found that.
No, what people were saying was that they wanted the puppy dogs there, right?
Have a rescue involved.
Okay, but it was Riverview, right?
Yes.
Riverview
Yeah.
Rescue. They were the most popular table, I'm
Okay.
not kidding.
I bet.
Yeah,
Okay.
I wanted all the dogs,
Babies and puppies, man.
all the dogs. They were so cute.
Perfect.
I have an update for the museum whenever, if I can add that in. I just got news.
Oh, yes, we can amend the agenda.
Sorry.
Under the mayor's report, we'll amend that.
Well, it kind of fits with
Oh,
community
perfect.
interest. but-
That's fine. You can add it right now.
Go ahead.
So I just got the news from FedDev Ontario that they have
No.
announced our fund. So
And 5 months later,
finally,
bam.
my notes on this, I was supposed to give an update. Yes, so back in November, we got the application, so I worked really hard on. And Kayla Desjardins was a huge help in this, and we completed the application, so it's Tourism Relief Fund. And for the business case application, we won $100,000. So that's what was used to implement the March Madness and overall museum modernization. So we're digitizing. We have a whole new website that we put together. So the art project was funded under that, which we're hosting art in the afternoon at John and Lynn's place. So this is the soft launch to launch the 12 paintings, or actually 16 paintings and 3 large murals that will be displayed throughout the village and township. Finally,
Finally,
huge relief.
I wish you had your slideshow here today
I
for
know.
Debbie.
I can send it to you if you want.
It's just so
It was a huge
amazing.
project in a short time frame. So we got the news November and everything had to be executed by March 31st. So the March Madness event, it was literally made me go mad. It was, pulling all your event tricks out of a hat and figuring out how to do it. Huge help from Dana and Kayla and many
We're
others.
finally allowed to announce.
Oh, I know.
Yes,
It's like having a baby.
that's a big strain, knowing you have some resources, but you can't tell anyone.
No, I know. And you know me, I like to talk. It's hard to keep a secret.
Well, and people knew that you got a grant. It was that we couldn't announce
It's not a grant, it's a fund.
a fund, sorry.
So,
But
yeah.
we couldn't announce the amount. And couldn't, I mean, I think some people knew that March Madness was paid for, but other people thought the municipality paid
They
for it.
did, and there were questions about that.
Other people thought that E EACVG paid for it.
And none of this would be possible without Annette.
yeah. Yes.
Sounding board, and so helpful and everything.
But don't feel too bad. We just announced at County Council last Wednesday, a fund we got in 2021.
Right? So this
That
isn't
we-
too bad then.
That we were just able to announce.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So this is a fund which is a little different than a grant. So you have to put skin in the game to show that you are invested in your community and you're going to make improvements and stuff like that.
congratulations.
Congratulations.
Anyway,
Fantastic. So I'm gonna count that as your council check-in.
well, I have more. Do you want the rest of it?
Yeah, I
Really?
do. Yeah,
You're asking everyone this, right?
Sorry, one
Yes.
question before you move on.
Yeah.
FedDev on. That's the name.
FedDev on, yeah, government, FedDev, Ontario, I guess it is.
So
It's-
why, that's an oxymoron, why is federal and Ontario in the same type?
That's a good question. Annette, do you know the answer to that one?
it's a FedDev grant, but it's
Fund.
through, it's earmarked
Administered.
for Ontario.
Southern
That's right.
Ontario.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's the province that, disperses the funds
Got
and collects the reports and all of those types of things, but it's federal dollars sort of flowing through the province.
Okey-doke.
Transfer payment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I sent you guys the link. There was another one, Foster Park and Trail System in Killaloe. They were granted money as well. Yeah, so there's quite a few. I sent you the link. for the
Fantastic.
area.
Great work.
Yeah.
All right. Yes, everybody's
really wanna
being
hear this?
accessed.
I got a couple of pages here. You're gonna have to throw fun at me. Okay, so my campaign platform was focused on, really tight, focused on youth tourism and supporting local businesses. So some of the things I've done sort of out of the gate, established the youth action committee. We've hosted scavenger hunt, Halloween costume party at the Eckerd Center, 2 roller skating sessions, which actually appealed to middle-aged women, but that's okay. March Break Madness, which, as everyone knows, the huge success, lots of media coverage and interest and people, many people from out of the area, you know, we came in for that, lots of lineups, so that's always a good sign
Yep,
that they can't get in. Tourism really focused on this grant, and it was modernization of museum operations, so, and touching on, there's also a combination of digitization. So I commented on that, supporting local business, so we, Kayla and I, again, we organized a vendor market at the gun show, which you were there at. That wasn't quite in election time, but that kind of started it. We're doing more vendor markets. We had music in the park vendor market. We're planning more for the rest of the year. So just trying to figure out the right time, probably around the gun show again. March Break Madness. And one of the ones out of all of this, I'm really proud of was the dog pound. I know I didn't campaign on that, but raising awareness about Buddy, the dog, who'd been in there for 2 years. So working with rescues, outreaching my rescue network, trying to find someone to take this poor dog. So Buddy's living his happily forever after on the farm right now. So he's very happy. So that's it.
that's great. So I think you've got some momentum and you'll just keep bringing us great ideas that we'll just
It's fun.
follow. Okay, let's do it.
It's been fun. Actually, it's been a lot of fun.
And
Well,
Tracy's.
Without Tracy's clarification of the dog pound issues, that wouldn't have been so easy to solve. It had all the hallmarks of a real messy situation, but
Puppies and children, right?
she made it clear in a way that made the solution easy. Thank you.
All right, John, you're up.
Thank you. I tried not to make too many promises.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean campaign promises.
Just ideas.
Things that you'd like to see done in your term.
So number one, and this goes before the fire zone restriction, I'm pleased to be on the emergency management plan committee, and I've reviewed the plan carefully and attended a day in emergency management at Horton Township. And I'd like to slowly revise and review those plans and bring ideas to council that we can discuss. I think
Bring it on.
we can't be too prepared for anything.
And those documents aren't static, right?
Yes.
They are living documents. And as we see different emergencies arise or different situations arise, you're absolutely right. So that's fantastic.
But
Yeah.
as you review municipality documents, you realize that some of them are ancient. They haven't been looked at, but that's why we're here. An issue that concerns me is traffic safety, I'll call it. But I did hear people complain about speed of traffic, mostly on Bon Sur, but on the numbered roads
Yeah.
and noise complaints. And so I have reviewed with Annette's help, I've reviewed the bylaws concerned, and what I've encouraged is rather than write a letter or come in and make a delegation, I've encouraged people I'm trying to put people together, and if they can get a small group together and present their concerns, they'll get a much better chance of us listening to them than if one individual comes in upset. So I'm continuing to look at traffic safety. I'll just use that. The Bon Sur Valley Trail System, which was I was introduced to by Bob Peltzer, but Chris Hinsberg and others know a lot. And I'm glad to hear that Killaloe, who deserved their grant,
I
got
need
it.
to go through it.
This is we should have the whole county linked with all kinds of public use trails. So that's another place where I'm trying to have some input. You know, I'm interested in renewable energy. I've talked to people about that, and at your request or at your suggestion, I've submitted to Tony Fleming the ideas that I have to present, so he can quickly give me before I bring a delegation to council. I'd like to have that cleared as well, because I've purchased shares in the organization that I want to involve, but that's coming. Don't worry.
But that also doesn't preclude you from being part of the delegation,
No. So.
right? I think, you know.
But I'm glad I
Yeah.
can clear up that question before it even comes to council. I'm working a little bit on attainable housing. It's hard. We haven't really got a driving force in Bon Sur Valley, and we might not, but I'm still talking with a lot of the players in the county, and we'll see where that goes. We know we're gonna have to, probably during this year or next year at least, we're gonna have to deal with issues surrounding Lake Clear and zoning and allowing RVs. So I'm trying to talk to more stakeholders and see both, get a better understanding of both sides of the issue, because I think that's where we'll succeed, no matter what we end up advising or creating a bylaw to enforce. we need to show that we've talked to everybody and everybody's had their say. And that's all. My last one is, and again, this is a personal one because of my history working up north. I'd like to find ways to improve our relations with Pikwakanagan. And they have a new council there, so it's a nice time. So I'm quietly talking to people about projects, and our reconciliation garden is a good foot in the door. And it'd be fun for our council and their council, their band council, to maybe get together and have an educational session where we could do something along that line.
So funny that you brought that up. I think on June 21st, and I know that we've been invited to the seniors AGM at 1. But I think from the sounds of it, they'd like to have the garden ribbon cutting for the 3rd time, unfortunately, around 4 o'clock. But I will, as
On
soon
the
as,
21st?
yes, but as soon as I know, you will know. And yes, absolutely, their new band council. I do not know the new chief very well. Obviously, Wendy and I, the previous chief and I were friends.
Yeah.
But certainly a great initiative. Good list, John, good list. Brent, what say you, my friend?
Yeah, well, it's like anything, I guess the approach I took at is the same stuff I've said since probably I first came in, was that we need to continue to try to grow this town. Because the thing is economics, you can look at throughout Canada, economics isn't getting very much better. We can barely maintain our roads. So our focus always has to be supporting our volunteers, because that's your grassroots system that builds your community that we all want to support. Like, look at the initiative we had a March break, look at the initiatives the library does, the senior center, and the support that Fairfields board is like giving to the residents there as well. So really, when I've always looked at it, I've always looked at our focus always has to be maintained on the basics that we provide on people, and we support the volunteers in our communities. So that's why that's why I enjoyed, like, look at the amount of people we've had in every single event we've ever done in the last year. There's a lot more excitement there, and I think we can build off that. It doesn't mean we have to spend money in the moon to do it. What it means is that we just support our volunteer groups. And through that, our focus is obviously making sure that we keep our minds on that. We do have to keep repairing roads. We have to keep working towards it. We have to utilize our taxpayers' funds appropriately. When it comes to my personal involvement with anything, it's just like, well, I said, I'm always focused that I think that when I look at the budget every single year, if that 1.8% growth can get raised every single year, it means we can tax people less money. And if we have enough growth in this municipality, be it rural or beyond the water and sewer system, that alleviates the burden on every single person. When the cost of living is high enough right now, because it is very high, everything's high, then that's when we can do our due diligence as counselors, and we can try to keep that 0% or within reason. So that's the thing. That's why I've always said we have a growth-based approach, and how we do that is through tourism. It's through creating good community, be it volunteer groups or be it that we run certain events, or be it that we just can create a focused community that, yes, okay, we have a lot of shoulders on our roads right now. Eventually down the road, if we apply for grants, we can add additional sidewalks to make our community more of a hub, right? So it's all just focus-based growth. And that's really what I've always looked at. I've always kind of looked at, you have the economic standpoint where it's like, well, yeah, we have to look at growing our township. So it's which direction do we want our tourism strategy? Because that's something we're going to have to approach, is that we spent money into a tourism strategy. Now we actually have to somewhat apply it. And when I look at that, it's like, okay, why do people come to a municipality? There's a lot of different varying effects people come. They come to cottage, they come to recreation, they come to hike, they come to retire, or they come to raise a family. No different than what I did. I came here, it's a beautiful community, raise a family. Yeah, I do construction, that's great as well. The thing is, it's a great community. I have a lot of friends who are moving from Ottawa out towards this area. So why are they moving to this area? So that's why I've always looked. So me as a counselor, I'm just going to I try to be consistent, and I look at any decision as we go. So no, I've always been very budget focused, and I think that's what we're going to continue to do. There's my rents report for the day.
I like it. I didn't have anything in my campaign, so I'll just be here to support you guys. No, I'm kidding. Obviously, my favorite thing to do is advocacy. It's, I think that I've grown a lot of relationships in the provincial government, the federal government. and some really good networking, not only with my own colleagues at county council, but across Ontario. In my opinion, it is part of my job to make sure that I fight for the things that we want, and the things that all of you just said. Those are items that I want to be able to take back to the province and say, look, if you give us this fund or you give us this grant, we are going to utilize it down to the penny. And I think that we are a very frugal level of government. We're the only level that can't have a deficit. This budget was very difficult, but I do think that it was responsible. And quite frankly, I'm here to support all the things that you want. When John talks about attainable housing, that's very important to me, and it has been for a long time, even when we called it affordable housing. When you talk about growing the community, I was so proud on Saturday to see not one, but 2 new businesses have booths at that expo, where they're collaborating. So they're not taking one storefront and saying, yep, this is going to be my domain. They're partnering up, they're utilizing spaces. It's a very interesting model, and certainly would make it more affordable for people that want to have a small business but don't want a permanent storefront. And Tracy, that I'm behind every single thing you do.
You are.
I am.
Every phone call, every email.
And I love being your task rabbit, because I'm not the most creative human. I think I have other talents.
Yes, we all do.
That's the beauty of this table, is that we all have different things that we want to accomplish, that we want to see. But I also know that all of you, in everything you said, what you've encapsulated is post-pandemic recovery, right? About getting people out, about making sure people are taken care of, to grow our community so that we're vibrant and people are smiling and coming out of that anger subset and that attacking each other on social media. I think that everything that was said, you just sort of made a dream team of different things that you want to see. So thank you.
Thank you.
Perfect. So then 8.3, we have reminder committee of adjustments being at 5:25 today, so that
Yes,
should be a simple one. 8.4, reminder, the Eatonville Generation Corporation, we have AGM June 20th at 3:30 p.m. So that's just Tuesday after a regular meeting. Then we have 8.5, art in the afternoon, Tracy and John.
I know I mentioned it, but I'll mention it again. John jumped in. So art in the afternoon is really, they said, a soft launch for this artisan project that Laurel Cook and other artists have been involved in. So it's the pre-launch to learn, the story behind the paintings. We're still trying to find someone, maybe Gerald, Tracy, I don't know. We talk a little bit about the history of the area and how, these paintings represent the historic locations. So the tickets are $30, and we're raising funds to create the signposts for these paintings. So that's going to take a little bit of money. So we're hoping this is just part of it. And John and Lynn were very gracious in offering up their home to do this. We have John Park Wheeler performing in the afternoon. I don't know if you've had Lynn's food or Laurel's amazing food that's going to be there. I think it's from Ottawa Valley Co-op, a lot of them, right? Yeah, so I'm hoping everybody can come out. Everybody in this room, I'm hoping will go. And it's definitely a worthy cause. And again, it's supporting our community, and I'm hoping that everyone's going to go there. I don't know, John, if you had anything to add to that?
I'm just gonna say, I can assure you without any exaggeration that the $30, it would be with $30 just to eat Lynn's food.
Yes.
Excellent.
And Laurel's, those two together. Oof.
I'm in.
July 1st.
July 1st. Sorry, I should say that. It's July 1st from 2 to 6 p.m. I'm so excited about this announcement that I just,
It's truly incredible, especially that you just got it. Like,
Yeah.
that's really neat.
Yeah, that I
Yeah.
checked. Yeah, no, so, yeah. I can't think of anything else. Yeah, so this event will be a lot of fun. So we've got, let me just announce, so we've got a vendor market happening as well as the artist that did it. So it'll be Jay Blake, he's the wood burning guy. That was
Oh,
at,
yeah.
did the cutting boards. Laurel Cook, Kayla, who makes jewelry, so the earrings I'm wearing, announcement, Kayla made these. Kathy Haycock, Janice Hussman, so she's the one that has new, she opened up a weaving studio on Fourth Street. She's had the textiles,
Yeah.
she'll be there, Beverly Lewis and Chris Peltzer, I think everyone's familiar with those names.
Perfect. So
Looks like a good
so to
time.
summarize, you want everyone to join you at the art.
Yes, I do.
In support of the mural
Yes.
project.
It's
and-
only $30.
And it's July first, which
Yeah.
is a Saturday between 2 and 6 p.m.
Or I should say
Located
it's on
at
LC Street.
30 LC
I would-
Street. If
You
you,
drive around till you find John
Perfect.
Ellis's house.
All right.
there we
You
go.
can't miss the solar panels when you get
No.
there, or the dog.
Perfect. So then our next meeting is June 20th at 1:30 p.m. Debbie, did you have any questions?
This is just following up from something from way back, but was anything ever announced about the boat launch at the Goal Resort?
No.
We're working on
But,
it.
yes,
Working on it, okay.
Yeah.
It's just one of those legacy issues.
Yeah.
I was away for.
and it
so,
continues to be,
Yeah,
yes,
but I just thought, because I know it was on the agenda for a closed session a while back. And so I just didn't know if there was anything, because sometimes things come out afterwards, from the closed sessions. Thought I would ask. Yeah. Good, thank you.
Have yourself a great day, Debbie.
I will.
Thank you.
do we have 5 before we go into? closed?
Yes, we have a 5-minute break, everyone. Thank you.
Debbie, do you want me to email you stuff about
Yes, I
that?
do.
Okay.
You have my email, right?
Yeah.
Perfect, so that, committee proceeding in closed session in accordance with municipal act 2001, section 239.2, deal with the matters that's indicated below, financial information supplying confidence to the municipality, which if disclosed could reasonably expected prejudice significantly the competitive position or interfere significantly with the contractual or other negotiations of a person, group of persons, or organization. Could please have a mover? Tracy, thank you very much. All those in favor? Perfect, and we're now in close. Thank you.
Guys,
We are on.
Perfect. Could we please have a mover move side close, please? Mr. Epps, perfect, thank you. Committee moves a closed session to Verizon report. The committee met to receive information, supply and confidence regarding township property and approved minutes from May 9th, 2023. All those in favor? Perfect. Could I please ask for a mover to adjourn the meeting, please? Tracy, perfect. All those in favor? Perfect, thank you much. Please note for the, please note for the record, that was two hands by Tracy Saunders. Thank you.